Poor student married 71-year-old millionaire woman. 7 days later, he was shocked by what he saw. A gray sky loomed over the small coastal city of Halwick, its streets slick with rain. Noah Reed trudged along the sidewalk, his backpack slung over one shoulder, his face etched with worry. At 23, he was juggling his final year of law school, a part-time job, and an avalanche of debts left by his late father. The world seemed to close in tighter every day. His phone buzzed in his pocket, snapping him out of his thoughts. Noah Reed speaking. He answered. A composed, authoritative voice responded, "Mr. Reed, this is Victoria Langford. I'd like to meet with you. It's regarding your financial situation." Noah frowned. "I'm sorry, who are you? How do you know about—" "I know enough," she interrupted smoothly. "Let's meet at Langford Estate Cafe, 7:00 p.m. Sharp, it's important." The call ended before Noah could protest. Confused but intrigued, he made his way to the upscale cafe. The rain fell harder as he arrived, his jacket doing little to keep him dry. Stepping inside, he was greeted by warm lighting and the aroma of fresh coffee. At a corner table sat Victoria Langford, a striking woman with silver hair styled impeccably. Dressed in a tailored suit that radiated wealth.
"You look tired,
"Noah," she greeted, gesturing for him to sit. Her tone was calm, yet commanding, and as he sat down, drenched and uncertain, he had no idea that this conversation would change everything he thought he knew about survival. Loyalty, and the price of freedom. Noah hesitated before taking the seat opposite her. "Mrs. Langford," he began cautiously. "What is this about?" Victoria smiled faintly, her movements precise, deliberate, the kind of composure money could buy and pain could polish. Straight to the point. "Good," she said, stirring her tea slowly. "No, I know about your debts, the ones your father left behind. I know about your mother's medical bills, your sister's tuition. I know you've been trying to hold it all together." He froze, his pulse quickening. How do you even know that?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she placed her cup down with quiet grace and leaned forward. "Because I do my research before I make an investment." The word investment struck him oddly, but before he could question it, she continued, "I'm here to offer you a solution." Noah frowned, half in disbelief. A solution. Her gaze locked on his sharp, unwavering, almost predatory. "Marry me." The words hung in the air, absurd, heavy, impossible. He blinked, certain he'd misheard. "Excuse me, you heard me," she said evenly. "This isn't about romance. Mr. Reed, it's a business arrangement. I'll pay off every cent you owe. Your family will be taken care of. In return, you'll become my husband." He let out a breathless, disbelieving laugh. "You're serious? I don't make jokes." "Noah." Her tone was calm, terrifyingly calm. She reached into her bag and slid a thin folder across the table. Inside were neatly printed pages, contracts, legal documents, bank statements. Every piece of his life laid bare debts, balances, failures. "Why me?" he asked finally, his voice quieter now. "You don't even know me." Victoria's expression softened for the first time, not with warmth, but with something else. Calculation. "That's exactly why. You're young, intelligent, unattached, and desperate enough to consider this. Someone to share my name, my estate, my legacy. Think of it as a contract, not a commitment." Noah shook his head, his thoughts spinning. "This is insane. Why would you?" "Because I can," she interrupted, her voice low, composed, final. Silence stretched between them, heavy and suffocating. Outside, the rain pressed against the windows, streaking the glass like silver tears. Victoria took one last sip of her tea, then said calmly, "You have until tomorrow night to decide. Don't take too long, Mr. Reed. Opportunities have a habit of disappearing." She stood, adjusted her pearl earring, and walked away, leaving the faint scent of jasmine and power in her wake. Noah sat frozen, the rain still falling beyond the glass, a rhythm that echoed the storm now rising inside him. He'd walked into the cafe searching for hope, and left with an offer that could save his family or destroy him completely. A week later, the courthouse smelled faintly of rain and old paper. Noah stood by the window, adjusting the suit Victoria had provided, tailored, expensive, and nothing like him. Outside, the sky was a dull silver. Inside, the silence felt ceremonial and heavy. The ceremony itself lasted less than 15 minutes. No music, no guests, just a lawyer, a notary, and the woman who now legally owned his future. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, Victoria turned to him with a faint smile that never reached her eyes. "Welcome to your new life, Mr. O'Reilly." The words should have sounded comforting. They didn't. The gates of Langford Manor creaked open as the car rolled up the winding driveway. The mansion rose before him, vast, pale stone, trimmed with ivy and silence. It looked less like a home and more like a mausoleum dressed in money. Noah stepped out, suitcase in hand. A butler appeared, tall, discreet, eyes unreadable. "This way, sir." The hall smelled of polish and old perfume. Paintings watched him from the walls. Faces of men in suits, women in pearls, all wearing the same hollow composure Victoria carried now. She met him in the foyer, her voice precise as always. "Dinner's at 7. Your room is upstairs, second door on the right. If you need anything,
I just wanted to
ask
thank
Thomas." "Thank
Yes,
you,"
very good.
he said quietly. "There's no need to thank me." "Noah," she replied, almost absently. "You signed for this." Her heels echoed down the marble corridor until she disappeared from sight. The table could have seated 20, but only 2 places were set. Candlelight reflected off polished silverware. Victoria, seated at the far end, sliced her steak with mechanical grace. "I trust you're settling in," she said. It's
beautiful,
different,"
of course,
he
but
admitted.
It just feels
"This
so
house
much
feels like a museum." A faint smile curved her lips. "Good. I like my history preserved." Noah set down his fork. "You never mentioned your late husband." Her knife paused mid-cut. For the first time that evening, her composure cracked just slightly. She dabbed her lips with a napkin before answering. "He was a businessman, like your father." A pause. Their paths crossed once. Not all encounters end well. The air thickened. "What do you mean?" Noah asked. Her eyes met his, sharp as glass. "Let's just say, unfinished business has a way of returning. Then, almost too softly, you'll understand soon enough." That night, Noah couldn't sleep. Rain tapped against the windows like fingertips on glass. The manor felt alive, whispering, breathing, hiding something just beyond reach. He sat on the edge of his bed, the silence pressing in around him, and wondered, what exactly had he married into? Days passed inside Langford Manor like chapters torn from someone else's life. The house obeyed its own rhythm, polished silence in the morning, whispers at night. The staff spoke in careful tones, their eyes dropping whenever Noah entered a room. He tried to convince himself it was paranoia. It wasn't. Every night, he heard things. Footsteps, a faint door creaking open somewhere down the west wing, the one Victoria said was off limits. Sometimes, he thought he saw shadows moving behind the frosted glass of the corridor. At breakfast, she acted as if nothing existed beyond her schedule. Eat
your breakfast,
Noah. You look pale." "Just tired," he murmured. "Tired minds make foolish choices," she replied without looking up from her tablet. It wasn't advice, it was a warning. One stormy evening, while wandering the library, Noah found himself drawn to Victoria's desk. Books were stacked with mathematical precision. A faint scent of lavender and old ink lingered in the air. And then something glinted beneath the lamplight. A small, ornate key, silver, intricate, cold to the touch. His breath caught. He hesitated, then pocketed it. The manor seemed to tighten around him as he walked back to his room. Every step echoed like a question he didn't want answered. That night, when the house sank into silence, he got up. The key felt heavy in his hand. He followed the corridor down the west wing where the air felt colder, denser, as if it carried someone's breath. At the end stood a locked door, ornate brass handle, dust on the frame. The kind of door meant to be seen, not opened. Noah slid the key into the lock. It turned with a soft click. Inside was another world, a forgotten one. Dust-covered furniture, faded wallpaper, framed photographs. Victoria as a young woman, radiant, beside a man with kind eyes, her late husband, Harold Langford. But there were more pictures. A second man, younger, sharp suit, familiar features. Noah froze. It was his father, heart hammering. He scanned the desk, old documents, newspaper clippings, letters in a woman's neat handwriting. One line tore the breath from his chest. "You destroyed my husband, Daniel Reed. You took our company, our home, and his life. I will take from you what you love most, Beneath it lay a legal document, a marriage license. His name, Victoria's name, dated weeks before he'd ever received her call. His vision blurred. Every second of their marriage replayed the way she'd looked at him, studied him, chosen him. Not a husband, a weapon, a legacy built on vengeance. The floor creaked. Noah turned. Victoria stood in the doorway, the shadows slicing her face into light and dark. Her expression unreadable, her voice soft, dangerous, enjoying herself. He stammered, guilt written across his face. What is all this? She stepped closer, her heels clicking against the wooden floor. It's called the truth, a rare thing in your family, I'm told. My father didn't ruin us, she snapped, her composure cracking for the first time. He bled my husband dry, left him with debts, humiliation, and shame until it killed him. I buried the man I loved because of Daniel Reed. Her voice trembled not from weakness, but fury contained too long. So you married me to punish him. Victoria's gaze hardened, to make his bloodline carry the weight he left behind. You'll live under my name, in my house, on my terms. And when I'm gone, the world will remember the Langfords, not the Reeds. Noah's jaw clenched. You've turned grief into a prison. She smiled faintly bitter. Tired. Grief is a prison. I've simply learned to decorate the walls. She turned and walked out, her perfume lingering long after she was gone. And Noah was left in that room surrounded by ghosts, truths, and the sound of the lock clicking shut behind him. For days, the house grew quieter, too quiet. Victoria rarely spoke to him now. She spent long hours locked in her study. Her voice faint behind closed doors, hushed, commanding, never gentle. Noah stopped sleeping. Every sound became a clue, every silence a threat. The staff's whispers followed him through the halls. He's found out. Does he know what she's done? She never leaves loose ends. He needed proof, something to break whatever web he'd been dragged into. Late one night, when the storm outside swallowed the manor's sounds, Noah slipped into her study. The room smelled of ink, old paper, and expensive perfume. In the drawer, beneath stacks of ledgers, he found an envelope addressed to Daniel Reed. His hands shook as he read, "You left us with nothing. You killed Harold with your greed. You thought you'd walk away, but every empire has cracks. Daniel, and I found mine in your son." Underneath the letter were recent documents, bank transfers, forged partnerships, shell companies under Victoria's name. She wasn't just avenging her past. She was rebuilding her empire illegally, ruthlessly. The next morning, Noah sat in the library, phone in hand. He dialed a number he hadn't called in months. "Peter, it's me." "Noah, Jesus, you sound terrible. What's going on?" "Hypothetically," Noah said, voice low. "If someone signed a contract under deception, and that person's being manipulated, could it be voided? If you have proof, yes, but what are you involved in?" "A mistake," Noah whispered. "A very expensive one." That evening, Victoria appeared in the dining room elegant as ever, a glass of red wine in her hand. "You've been busy," she said, her tone silk over steel. Noah's heart lurched. "I don't know what you mean." She smiled faintly, setting down her glass. "Don't insult me. You think I don't notice when someone rearranges my life? I just want the truth." "No, Noah," she said, voice dropping. "You want to be innocent, but you can't be. Not when your blood carries his name." "You're wrong," he said, his voice shaking. "I'm not him." Her gaze softened just barely. "That's what Harold used to say about his father." The glass slipped from her hand and shattered against the floor, a burst of the crimson across white marble. Neither of them moved. "If you betray me," she whispered, "you'll wish you hadn't." Then she left her heels clicking like a metronome, counting down the seconds he had left. The next day, Noah met Peter in secret. They reviewed the documents, the transfers, the forged signatures. It was enough to destroy her legally and publicly. "You sure you want to do this?" Peter asked. "Once this starts, there's no going back." Noah looked out the car window. The Langford estate stood in the distance, cold and immaculate. "She ruined everything to punish the dead," he said quietly. "I can't let her ruin the living." He sent the files to the authorities, and then he waited. It happened the next morning. The sound of engines on gravel, uniforms, voices. Victoria stood in the grand hall, composed even as the officers surrounded her. She turned when she saw Noah, her eyes calm, her voice steady. "You called them. You left me no choice," he said. She smiled, the first genuine smile he'd ever seen from her. "Ah, So you are your father's son after all. The handcuffs clicked around her wrists. As they led her away, she turned once more. Be careful, Noah. Revenge is a mirror. Look too long, and you'll see yourself. Then she was gone. And for the first time since the day they met, the house felt empty, not just of her, but of purpose. The courtroom was cold, polished oak, white light, the smell of old paper and judgment. Noah sat in the back row, his palms pressed together, watching as Victoria Langford faced the bench, even in a gray suit and handcuffs. She carried herself like royalty, chin lifted, eyes unbroken. She didn't look at him until the verdict was read. Guilty of fraud, conspiracy, and financial misconduct. Her face barely moved, only her hands trembling once before stilling again. When she was led past him, their eyes met for the briefest second. There was no anger there, only something closer to peace. Weeks passed, the estate was seized, her assets frozen. Noah was summoned to meet the executor handling Victoria's will. She had left everything to him. Her instructions were very clear. The lawyer said, "You are to take ownership of the Langford property," and a letter she wrote before sentencing. He handed Noah a cream envelope, her handwriting elegant, precise, unshaken. Noah, by now, you've seen what revenge does. It devours. It dresses itself as justice, but it's only hunger in disguise. For years, I told myself I was building an empire. In truth, I was just trying to resurrect a ghost. Your father wasn't innocent, but neither was I. I thought I could punish his name through you. Instead, I found something I'd forgotten existed: grace. You showed me that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom. Don't let my house become your cage. Sell it, burn it, turn it into something good. Harold would have liked you, Victoria. Noah stood in the foyer of Langford Manor one last time. Dust caught the morning light through the stained glass. The silence that once suffocated him now sounded like closure. He sold the estate within a month. The funds cleared every debt his family carried, but he didn't keep the rest. He founded the Langford Reed Foundation for Second Chances, a scholarship for students crushed by the same kind of debts that once chained him. A year later, under an autumn sky, Noah spoke at the foundation's opening ceremony. Behind him hung a simple plaque in memory of Harold and Victoria Langford. "In forgiveness, we rise. This isn't about money," he said to the small crowd before him. "It's about what we do when the past won't let go, whether we let it bury us or teach us how to begin again." As the applause faded, a gust of wind brushed across the stage, carrying the faint scent of jasmine. He looked up. For the first time in a long while, the sky above Helwick was clear.